The hush-hush rumor is that Britt is walking straight into a brutal, emotional meat grinder the second she sets foot back in town. What if her entire harrowing escape was just a prelude to a much darker psychological warfare? High chances are that the writers are setting up a scenario where Britt is completely isolated. The truth might be way more complicated than a simple rescue mission gone wrong. We are looking at a drastic storyline shift that will leave the entire viewing audience absolutely breathless and begging for more answers. The absolute center of this impending storm is, without a doubt, young Rocco. According to the latest behind-the-scenes whisper, Rocco is about to become the most contested prize in town. Everyone suddenly wants to play savior and dictate his future. But what if there is a sinister underlying reason for this obsession? It seems like powerful figures are using the boy as a pawn in a larger chess game. High chances are that the traumatic events Rocco just survived have altered him. The unconfirmed leak suggests the community will try to rip Rocco away from the one person who risked everything to keep him breathing. The truth might be way more complicated than a family dispute. It could be a deliberate attempt to erase Britt's heroic actions entirely from the historical record. Let us talk about that highly controversial decision Britt made to take Rocco on the run. The official narrative is that she was reckless, but what if the opposite is true? The hush-hush rumor circulating among insiders is that Britt knew about a deadly threat lurking right under everyone's noses. High chances are that the people hunting them were tipped off by someone inside the police department itself. It seems like Britt was actually acting as the ultimate protector. The truth might be way more complicated, and what if Britt is intentionally taking the blame to cover up a darker secret involving Rocco's family? The behind-the-scenes whisper hints that Britt is carrying a burden she cannot speak of, a secret so explosive it would destroy the foundation of the police force. And this brings us to Dante. Oh, ladies. The anger radiating from Dante is reportedly going to be off the charts. The unconfirmed leak reveals that Dante is going to point every single finger of blame squarely at Britt. He is absolutely furious, convinced her choices place Rocco in the crosshairs. But what if Dante is actually drowning in his own immense guilt? High chances are that Dante realizes he failed to protect his son, and instead of facing that reality, he is using Britt as a scapegoat. It seems like Dante is projecting his deep insecurities as a father. The truth might be way more complicated. What if Dante is being manipulated by someone whispering poison into his ear, a hidden enemy who wants to see Britt completely destroyed for their own twisted amusement? The drastic storyline shift regarding Dante's relentless pursuit of Britt is poised to tear the community apart. The hush-hush rumor is that Dante will use every ounce of his badge to make Britt pay, demanding severe consequences for taking Rocco across borders. It seems like Dante is willing to burn down the town just to see Britt suffer. High chances are that this relentless persecution will force everyone to choose sides. What if Dante's obsession with punishing Britt actually pushes Rocco further away from him? The truth might be way more complicated, as Rocco himself might resent his father. The unconfirmed leak suggests that the more Dante pushes, the more isolated he will become, alienating the few remaining allies he has left in the precinct. Just when the behind-the-scenes whispers indicate that Britt is about to lose everything, a massive twist is written into the script. Ladies, brace yourselves, because the unconfirmed leak confirms that Nicholas is making shocking return to the canvas. He is stepping directly into the line of fire to shield Britt. What if Nicholas has been watching from the shadows this entire time? High chances are that Nicholas orchestrated his return specifically because he saw Britt being crucified. It seems like the writers are positioning Nicholas as the ultimate Dark Knight. The truth might be way more complicated regarding how Nicholas knew exactly when to step out of the darkness, perhaps tipped off by a secret insider who knew Britt was in grave peril. The dynamic between Britt and Nicholas is supposedly going to be the most compelling drastic storyline shift of the season. According to the unconfirmed leak, Nicholas does not just offer Britt physical protection, he offers her profound emotional validation. While Dante hurls accusations, Nicholas looks at Britt and sees a warrior who made an impossible sacrifice. What if Nicholas is the only one who understands the true weight of doing the wrong thing for the right reasons? High chances are that their shared history of making desperate choices will forge an unbreakable bond. It seems like the writers are heavily leaning into this connection. The truth might be way more complicated than a simple alliance. It is a merging of two outcasts who refuse to be victims anymore. As the behind-the-scenes whispers continue to pour in, it becomes clear that Nicholas is going to stand toe-to-toe with Dante. The hush-hush rumor is that Nicholas will publicly humiliate Dante, calling out his hypocrisy and his failure to secure his child's safety. What if Nicholas threatens to expose a dark secret about Dante's past to force him to back off Britt? High chances are that Nicholas will use his immense wealth and cunning intellect to build an impenetrable fortress around Britt. It seems like Dante will find himself completely outmatched by Nicholas's ruthless protective instincts. The truth might be way more complicated, as this rivalry could escalate into a dangerous war that drags the entire empire into a bloody conflict with local law enforcement. Now, let us talk about the romance that is blooming from this chaos. The drastic storyline shift is reportedly steering Britt and Nicholas into a passionate, undeniable love story. The behind-the-scenes whisper is that their late-night conversations, filled with raw honesty, will ignite a spark that cannot be extinguished. High chances are that we are witnessing the birth of the next great super couple. What if their connection is so intense because they no longer have to pretend to be perfect? It seems like Britt will finally find a man who embraces every single jagged edge of her personality. The truth might be way more complicated than just a rebound romance. This is a profound soulmate connection that will redefine what love looks like in our favorite fictional universe. But what about Jason? Oh, the hush-hush rumor regarding Jason is utterly tragic. The unconfirmed leak reveals that Jason is finally going to realize what Britt means to him, but his timing is going to be catastrophically off. What if Jason's delayed reaction was actually orchestrated by someone trying to keep them apart? High chances are that Jason will arrive at Britt's door, ready to offer his protection, only to find Nicholas already standing there. It seems like the writers are inflicting maximum emotional pain on Jason, forcing him to witness the moment he loses the woman he loves. The truth might be way more complicated than just bad timing. Perhaps Jason subconsciously knew he could never offer Britt the all-consuming devotion that Nicholas is so eager to provide. The drastic storyline shift involving Jason's missed opportunity is going to send shockwaves through his entire character arc. The unconfirmed leak indicates that Jason will struggle immensely with the reality that he was too slow to act. High chances are that Jason will try to warn Britt about Nicholas, citing his dark history, but what if Britt completely rejects Jason's warnings? It seems like Britt will finally stand her ground, telling Jason that Nicholas was the only one who prioritized her. The truth might be way more complicated, as Jason's jealousy could drive him to make a reckless mistake. The behind-the-scenes whisper is that the writers are permanently closing the door on Jason and Britt, cementing her legacy as the new reigning queen of the dynasty. Let us deeply analyze the psychological impact of Nicholas's unwavering support on Britt's fragile state of mind. The hush-hush rumor is that Britt has been internalizing all the venom spit at her by Dante, slowly starting to believe she is the villain. What if Nicholas's arrival is the only thing that stops Britt from completely spiraling into a dark depression? High chances are that Nicholas will painstakingly rebuild Britt's shattered confidence. It seems like their emotional intimacy will outshine any physical connection, as Nicholas gently dismantles her walls. The truth might be way more complicated, as Nicholas himself is drawing strength from Britt's resilience to conquer his own inner demons, creating a perfectly balanced partnership of equals. As we look toward the future, the drastic storyline shift promises months of high-stakes drama and undeniable passion. The hush-hush rumor is that Nicholas and Britt will emerge as the undisputed king and queen of the town's intricate social chessboard. What if their ultimate revenge against Dante and the critics is simply living a fiercely happy life together? High chances are that Jason will be left in the dust, a lingering ghost of what could have been, while Britt confidently steps into her new destiny alongside Nicholas. It seems like the writers have finally realized the goldmine they have in this pairing. The truth might be way more complicated, with hidden traps still waiting to be sprung, but for now, the behind-the-scenes whisper guarantees this is just the beginning of an epic romantic saga. But do not get too comfortable with this romantic victory, ladies. Keep your doors locked and your eyes wide open, because the shadows in this town never stay quiet for long, and someone very dangerous is watching their every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.